future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
She's passionate about telling stories of amazing women who are rocking the world and empowering women to live, love, and thrive. Here's your host, Katherine Gray.
Hi, welcome to Live, Love, Thrive Women's Empowerment Hour, brought to you by 360karma.com. You know, every week, as you know, we have the most incredible women. We have some today, but first I just want to tell you, next week we're going to have the author of an amazing book. Her name is Reina Grande, and it tells the story of her immigration from Mexico, and you won't want to miss that. And also, we're going to have the founder of True Religion Jeans, Kim Gold. So if you don't want to miss any episodes, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel here. So today we have the incredible and amazing Michelle Pollino, who is a Fox News entertainment reporter and also a fantastic filmmaker and director from Spain, Miss Sonia Sebastian. First up, please give a warm welcome to Michelle Pollino. Hi, Michelle.
Hey, how are you?
Good to have you on today.
Good to be on.
I know you've had a birthday recently.
Yes.
We won't mention which one.
24.
24
Proud
times.
to say it. Proud to say it.
Hey, you know what? You're looking pretty good for 24.
Thank you.
I wouldn't take you for a day over 20. So, you are back here at UBN,
Right.
where you had a radio show here, Pure Pollino,
That's
which
right.
I loved, where you interviewed, incredible chefs.
That's
Like,
right.
I know we're both foodies, so
Yep.
that was awesome. I love that show. And now you've migrated over to Fox News.
Yep.
We won't hold that against you. Maybe we will. No, I think it's really cool that they have somebody cover exciting stuff, entertainment and news. I've seen you do the Emmys, the Oscars,
Yeah.
the Grammys.
Yeah.
That must be fun.
It's a great time. I mean, I love it. Fox News is a great station. I think there's a lot of people that will. I think a lot of people get the wrong idea because it does lean conservative, but there are a lot of amazing,
Just a little.
liberal-minded.
Yeah.
There's a good
Mix of people
balance.
on
There's a
there.
good balance. I mean, I think Fox balances out MSNBC and CNN and the New York Times and so many other left-leaning.
Well, it's true. There's something for everyone.
Yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
I mean. I think
Yeah.
Fox is a necessity because without it, and that's why I think it has such high ratings. It gives you the counterpoint. There's a counterpoint to everything in life.
That's
and that
true.
makes a balance. That's what life is about. It's about the yin and the yang. If we were all yin, it would be quite boring.
Right.
It would be quite boring.
So I know you started your radio career like way back when in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I did.
And, you know, I always like to share with people, you know, where people came from is always nice to know your backstory. It's something that probably wouldn't read in your bio. And I know you grew up in Philadelphia, and you had shared with me it was like a pretty tough neighborhood. And
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground was where I spent most of my days. It was West Philadelphia, 56 in Callowhill. It was, it was a mixed neighborhood. So it was a neighborhood that, and I was raised by a single mom. I didn't. My dad wasn't in my life early on, and
Was
so
that tough?
yeah, it was definitely tough, especially growing up. You know, in the 70s, it really wasn't a very popular thing to be a single mom.
Right.
And
Divorce
so,
became more popular later.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
being a kid in a single parent household, I was definitely somebody that felt on the outskirts of town. I felt like an alien at times.
Yeah.
So it definitely was rough, and I think that played into me being a very independent spirit, independent of mind.
You independent?
Yeah.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little. And it also toughened me up a bit because I would, I would oftentimes come home and feel very isolated and alone.
Were you bullied? Or you were the bully? Come on, which was it, Michelle?
I think there can be both.
Yeah, I think both. Yeah,
I think there can be both.
I would think, being with a single mom and in a tough neighborhood, that you probably had to be pretty strong.
Yeah. I remember one time.
That's where they say some good things come out of what we consider to be the bad things in our background. Like, being a tough and independent woman is really a good thing.
Right.
So had you not been through that, you might not be who you are today, obviously. So kind of something good came out of that.
It made me resilient.
Yeah. Resilience is great.
It made me resilient. And there were times, actually, I became a protector of sorts of many of my friends and would often get in fights trying to protect those that I knew had my back. So, I
think you're still like that today. I
Yeah.
think you're a very loyal friend and
Yeah.
you have people's back. And,
Yeah.
Right? Isn't it
Yeah.
something that,
I think that
became
stays
part of
with
your
me.
character.
It became part of my character
Yeah.
because to this day, I have true blue friends in
Yeah.
Philadelphia, even though I'm in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
that I talk to on a weekly basis.
That's great.
And
Our friend Marla.
our
and-
friend
yeah,
Marla,
yeah.
my friend Brenda, my friend Patty, Teresa, all my friends Becky's. I am still on a weekly to monthly basis speaking with them,
That's
even though we've
cool.
all grown up, had
Yeah.
families, and
Yeah.
moved on.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Some people don't keep in touch, but I'm one of those people that does also. I like that. I've had friends of 20, 30 years on the East Coast, and I just love them dearly, and I keep in touch, and I visit, and I think that's so important. One of the most important things in life, besides family, is your friends,
Yeah,
right? Which
yeah.
become family, really.
Right. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know we were both new to Los Angeles a handful of years ago. Now I think it's a decade, 12 years for me. How about for you?
I think it's 8 years, maybe
Yeah,
8 or
yeah.
9 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think I met you right when you moved here.
Yeah.
So, do you love LA?
I love LA.
Yeah.
I will never. I love Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But I love LA.
Yeah, LA is special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
and I
very
know you
special.
love your job.
I do.
Yeah.
And as I work for
Great
Fox
at it.
News Radio. I'm their entertainment reporter on Sirius XM, and that's channel 115 if you have it. And you can catch me on Fox 411. I do video updates, and so
Yeah, I know that's new, and I love that.
right.
That you're on camera and doing online video updates.
that is new. And
Yeah.
I've been blessed to grow at this company,
Yeah.
which is amazing to me. I think there's many misnomers about the company. I was like, when I first got hired, I was like,
Yeah.
I applied for it out of the blue
Right.
because I was like,
Why
I think,
not?
why not? Well, I started doing radio here at UBN when we did Pure Pollino, and
But
then
your background many years ago
was in radio.
was in radio for NPR, right?
Yeah, NPR, CBS. I did some stuff for NBC, on-camera stuff. I was a weekend reporter for NBC in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Channel.
Back in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I worked for KYW News Radio back in Philly for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I worked for NPR WHYY for about the same time. I was doing part-time at both stations for a little bit.
Yeah.
And
that was fun.
and that was great. Yeah.
But then you got away from
I did. I got
radio.
bored. I got bored with chasing ambulances. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, do I really want to do this for the rest? Because I was a news reporter.
Right.
I was a news reporter and I was an anchor. I wasn't into entertainment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gosh, I want to do something different. And
Yeah.
I called up my friend who worked over at Banyan Productions, which was a new production company. And she was producing a show called Trading Spaces. And I said, I want to do that.
Right.
And so she goes, I'll get you in. So I got in and I started working on Trading Spaces. Then there was, and
so
I
you
was
started producing
I was
reality.
Not. I was not producing yet on
but,
Trading
but
Spaces.
you were getting into the reality
I was
space.
getting into the reality space.
Yeah.
And then I worked my way up, and I eventually started producing reality TV. I produced shows like Ambush Makeover and a show for the OWN network called Searching For, and
Oh, cool.
yeah, and Kendra's show, which was horrible. But there are other really great, like.
Are you allowed to say that?
I just did. I just did. And My Dog Ate What for the Discovery. I think it was Discovery Channel. Which
There was a show
My
called
Dog
that?
Ate What? Yes.
My
My Dog
Dog
Ate
Ate
What?
What?
Yeah. It was about these dogs that ate this horrible thing. I did a story about this dog that lapped up Gorilla Glue and the glue grew into a giant ball into his stomach, and they had to have and they didn't know what was wrong with him, so they had to take him into surgery. So I had to recreate that whole scene with the dog and everything.
Not for nothing, but this sounds worse than the Kardashians. Just saying.
Right. Well, television today.
You do what you got to do.
You do what you got to do. Listen, I used to ambush and make over people. That was pretty scary.
That sounds like
Yeah.
it. Did they need it? Yeah.
They did. They did.
So that sounded like it was fun.
It was.
And then you started producing movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
I produced a film back east called Mayor Cupcake with Leah Thompson and Judd Nelson and Leah's daughters, Maddie Deutsch and Zoe Deutsch, who's becoming a huge star.
Mayor Cupcake. I don't think that was up for an Oscar.
No,
was
it wasn't. It's a cute family movie.
But I have to say, another one I know you produced, I loved.
Yeah.
It was out at the theaters. It got rave
Yeah.
reviews. GBF,
Yeah.
which was Gay Best Friend.
Gay Best Friend.
Cutest movie.
Cutest movie.
If people have not seen it, I think you can get it on Amazon or Netflix, one of those.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
It was on
GBF,
Showtime
it's
for a
called
while.
GBF.
Please rent it.
Yeah. Do you get residuals?
I do.
Rent it, folks. But cute, fun movie.
Yeah, cute, fun
I went
movie.
to see it just because I'm like, okay, my friend produced it. I'm going to go see it. It was at Outfest. And I was like, oh, my God, I love this movie. It was hilarious. It was clever. It was cute. It was really great. I'm not
Yeah.
surprised it got picked up to,
For-
go into the theaters.
Yeah, for distribution.
Yeah.
It was definitely, as soon as I read the script, I was all over it. One of the things that I've been able to do in my lifetime is really when I set my sights on something,
Yeah.
making it happen. And I think a lot of people get stuck in their head. And
Yeah.
I always say,
I
just
absolutely am a big proponent of that. You
just
can
do
do
it.
whatever you want, just do it.
Just do it.
Which means when people say, well, what does that mean, just do it? It means you have the picture in your mind
Yeah.
and you take the actions to make it happen,
Yeah,
whatever that means.
take the steps.
And then once you make that, you know how they say the universe conspires to assist you?
Yep.
It's so true.
It does.
The minute you put your mind to, creating your show or making a movie or doing a TV project, the minute you make your commitment to that, the universe does conspire to assist you. Someone will say, oh, you need to meet so-and-so, or someone will call you, or, it feels like happenstance, but it's so true that the universe just delivers those contacts, and it's up to us to A, listen to that,
Right.
and B, act on it.
Yeah.
And so you're right. Anything is possible, and you're definitely proof of that. And
I am,
I know
for
you wanted
sure.
to manifest, working at this network, and I think it's so cool that
Right.
you did that.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that's really interesting too, is because I never wanted to get into radio. It wasn't my thing. I never dreamed of it. Getting into any kind of commentary or any kind of broadcasting was never a thought in my mind. It literally was given to me.
It's a gift.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
So, you just have to be open to receiving whatever it is that God or the universe, whatever deity you pray to, wants you to do in this lifetime. Be
Right.
open to that.
So it kind of it presented itself, and then you said yes.
That's correct.
And that's the thing, people got to be aware of what's being presented to them. Sometimes it'll be delivered and they'll be fearful, and so they get in their own way and they'll say no when the opportunities are right there being laid out for them.
Say yes.
And also really tapping into what our gifts are.
Yeah.
To sit down and contemplate, what are our gifts
Yeah.
and how can we use them best to serve?
Right.
And I feel like you're really loving what you do. I feel like you feel like you're serving with your gift.
Yes, that's
that
exactly
you're making
right.
a difference.
Yeah, I think that, and I can and want to do more, is that kind of resilient factor of that childhood kind of coming back around and saying, okay, where can I take this gift? I want to take it all the way to the top. So
Right.
how do I do that?
Right.
I
I understand.
I started a show when I was running out of money with reality shows and independent films. That really wasn't making me money. So I went back to radio and I did that, and I answered an ad for an entertainment reporter that I got. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I answered an online ad for
Right.
this job.
Right.
Nobody gets that.
Right. No, that's when
Nobody
it's-
gets that.
Yeah, you definitely are creating your fate.
And that's
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, I'm
Because you could have said, "Oh, nobody gets a job applying online out of the blue." You could have said that.
I could have said that.
You totally.
Or I could have said like.
But you took the action and it paid off.
It did. It totally did.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing, I started doing these videos because I pitched that to them.
Right.
So I said, hey, I'm on the air and I write stories, entertainment stories all day long. I could just hop in front of the camera and do one of those stories for you.
Right. And there you go. And that's you're
So,
starting down that path.
And so, do I want to do more? Absolutely. Do I want to do whatever my gift can give to this world? I want to do that. I want to give my gift and add it to help this world progress in a way that, right now it's a volatile world. And everybody's arguing.
Let me ask you this. So besides the fact that your gift is that you're great on radio, you have great voice, great projection and everything, and you're comfortable with it, besides that, what unique perspective do you feel that you bring to the table? Because I know you do.
Yeah.
And do you feel like it's that balance that people are needing today, where you're trying to show both sides?
I am.
Yeah.
I have conversations. I get in conversations all the time, even on Facebook. And I try to plead with people. And I've been called names just because I work at Fox.
Well, even Oprah had sat down the Trump people and the Clinton people at the same table, and she's trying to get there to be a dialogue.
There needs to be a dialogue.
You're following in good footsteps there.
Yeah, my thought process right now is, when I started working at Fox, I was like, oh my gosh. But I started listening, and I started receiving what they were saying, and I was like, okay, they don't.
There's two sides to every story.
They're not racist. Yeah. They're not homophobic.
Well, there's some are. Some are. Let's be real. But not all of them, but some.
Not at Fox, no.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, not at your station.
Not. I would honestly say that this country is not as racist and as homophobic as people think.
Right.
I think they're falling into group thought, and as soon as they hear that, they're like, "Oh, that can't be true. Look at that. Well, look at that news story."
Well, here's what I agree with you on, and I do think that there is racism out there. We've seen it with the anti-Semitism and LGBT and minorities, but I don't think it's the majority. I think the majority are humanitarians, loving people.
That's correct.
I think the majority, and that's the good news. I do think we're in the majority.
That is correct. And here's another thing, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and there's 2 points I want to make here. The number one point was society, the news, the media needs to be feminized. And what I mean by that is receive a different thought. Mm-hmm. A woman is a reception.
Now, we are going to agree on that.
We need to receive a different thought. I am receiving different ideas, and I am putting them out there.
Yeah, and you're in a unique position because you really are in the middle where you're hearing both sides.
I do, all day
long.
long.
A lot of people are just in a bubble of just hearing the sides of their people that think like them. So you're in a unique position that you're hearing both sides.
And I am. I am in a very unique position.
And that's probably where you serve in delivering to people, hey, let's listen to both sides. Let's see if there's places where we can come together.
I'm gonna say one more thing, and because I know we have to wrap it up.
Only one more thing.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what president it was. I think it was Dwight Eisenhower that said, "Drive down the middle of the road when you're doing politics, because if you
not when you're drinking.
But not when you're drinking, because." If you go too far to the left or you go too far to the right, you will fall into the gutter. And take that thought with you, because there's a lot of gutter talk right now, and nobody is walking down the middle and having true dialogue.
Yeah, I think we won't get anywhere if we're just battling with each other.
We're not.
I try not to get in that mix, honestly. But each side is very fired up, and somehow there does have to be some people at the top who bring people together. I don't feel like right now there's a whole lot of people in our government that are politicians that are trying to bring people together.
On either side. On either side.
And that's what I'm saying, on either side.
On either side.
So, and that may be because we need more women in Congress and Senate. Like you said, to bring a feminine perspective. Women do tend to try to bring people together, to bring both sides of the aisle together. And that's why it is important to have more women in politics. They will bring that different perspective to the table. And we have elections coming up, and we do have an opportunity to put more women into positions of influence. And I think that is what it's going to take.
I think this society needs to be feminized, and again, the news needs to be feminized. If we can listen to another point of view without yelling racist or bigot or homophobe, if we can hear the other side and really,
Or liar, or nasty woman.
right? If we can hear the other side and actually have a dialogue, that's when true change comes.
Right.
A woman, when a woman truly receives another idea and gives it out to society, that idea has changed because of the chemistry inside. So you have one thought, you receive another. Those two thoughts come out and they become a different idea.
Right. I saw a documentary once with Israelis and Palestinian children coming together and having a dialogue, and they were understanding that they had the same needs and wants. And at the end of the day, people want to be loved and seen and heard. We're all souls in these human being bodies, and so we have to look at each other as souls, I think.
Yeah, we do.
And that's where it begins. So
That's where it begins.
we are going to take a little break.
Got it.
And we're going to come back with Sonia Sebastian, who is a fantastic filmmaker from Spain, who is now here based in LA. So sit back, relax. We'll be right back with Sonia Sebastian and Michelle.
The Live, Love, Thrive radio show is produced by 360karma.com. Are you a 360 Karma woman? If so, spread the word. Be sure to follow us on social media at 360 Karma Women on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please like us and share us with family and friends. This is the year of the woman, and we are stronger together. The Live, Love, Thrive program is brought to you in part by Honda of downtown Los Angeles, supporting the equality and empowerment of women.
And we are back now with the famous filmmaker, Sonia Sebastian. She's from Spain. We're so happy to have you with us today. I know you're located here in LA now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living here in LA.
And I know I've had Michelle join us as well because you're both from that filmmaking industry that's so male-dominated. It's nice to meet with two women that are successful in that niche. I take it it's very male-dominated in Spain, too.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe even more than the
More
U.S.
than here,
huh?
all the same. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's very,
yeah.
very male-dominated.
Yeah. So, wow, it's really bold of you that, you took that step to be a filmmaker in Spain as a woman. And what is your background that, led you to have that kind of chutzpah? Did they say that in Spain? No. Like, what's another word for chutzpah?
Balls.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, we say the same.
I knew I had you on for a reason, Michelle. So anyway, I'm so glad that that you took that step of breaking out and doing that. But the bold thing you did is not only are you a filmmaker in Spain, but you took even another bold step. You did the first lesbian film in Spain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a film where all the characters and the male characters, the main characters are lesbian. So
Wow.
that's
The male characters are lesbian?
the main character.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
Sorry,
Is
my
this,
accent.
is this a Spanish thing? All right.
So did you get flack for this from society there, or were they embracing of it?
Well, I had a lot of support of the
Wasn't European filmmaking way more supportive of gay and lesbian?
I don't know.
No?
She just did the very first one. It's not that.
In Europe. There are more lesbian filmmakers. It's more gay filmmakers.
Right.
Movies about gay.
Right.
But not so much about lesbian.
But I mean, this is
So
pretty late in the game for this to be the first lesbian film. When did it come out?
This was in last year.
Last year.
Yes,
That's crazy.
We
Wow.
premiered here in July.
That does seem weird.
But
Yeah.
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 It's last year.
That's weird.
So it's weird.
And so, what did you say to
2015.
yourself? There's no lesbian movies. I'm going to make the first one. I mean,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did a TV series online, like 8 years ago.
right. And it had the same name,
So,
Girl Meets Girl.
6 Girl.
What is it?
Because I was young, so I was seeking.
Yeah.
and I was
Chica
like,
seeks chica.
Yeah. So this one's called Girl Meets Girl.
Get.
Oh, Girl Gets Girl.
Oh.
And it's chica in Spanish.
In Spanish, it's the chica and chica.
Chica and chica.
The chica and chica means it's like I'm going from here to another one to another one.
Chica, 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 chica.
this an
It's like a chicken
autobiography?
train.
No.
I take a chicken
Are
train.
you sure? Come on, tell the truth. Her lips are sealed.
Well,
This is on Google forever.
I'm not saying a word. I'm not touching that one.
It's not about Michelle, is it? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm leaving myself out of this
That's
one.
okay.
So let's back up to how you got started being a filmmaker. So you were born in Paris, right? Wow.
Yes.
But you grew up in Spain.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Spain, and all my family is from Spain.
And then I know you were sharing with me that you actually studied filmmaking in Cuba.
Yes.
Now, how interesting is that?
Looks
How
like-
did you end up there, and when was that?
Well, in Cuba, they have one of the best schools in film for international
Right,
people.
right.
You know, there's
That's
not,
wild.
Not a lot of
Considering,
Cubans could go there.
yes, considering the dictator that
Yeah, but it's for is what they have. But for example, Francis Ford Coppola, teach there, and like
wow.
workshops, and a lot of great filmmakers.
So wait a minute, you're in Spain and you're thinking, I want to go to Cuba to be to learn filmmaking. Yeah. Okay, just saying.
And it's like-
and that's
wild.
before it opened up, right? Or
Yeah.
Oh,
that was
wow.
in 2000.
Wow. So
So-
they
Yeah,
let
I
you
don't
in there?
understand that.
Yeah, it's 2000.
Yeah. Are you a spy
But
or
a-
something? Or- How did you get in there?
But a lot of
I wanna hear
Spanish-
this,
A
yeah.
lot of Spanish and Mexican and Colombian, a lot of people from South America and Spain
Oh.
go there to study
Oh.
because it's very prestigious school.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
and it's in the mountains. It's not
Oh,
in
wow.
Havana. It's in the mountains. You live in the mountains with cows and just watching movies, just
Wow.
filming and just that.
totally
So,
immersed in it, huh?
Yeah, really.
Wow, what an
immersive.
incredible
Yeah. Yeah.
experience.
That's wild. But Castro is known. I mean, he was a tyrant and a murderer, but he also supported the arts,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course, now we don't have that, but okay, I'm not even going to go there.
You can't go there.
Yeah, I'm not
You can't.
going there because you're from Fox and I can't say that.
Well, I will say this: Governor Mike Huckabee wrote a fantastic piece, an essay, challenging Mr. Trump to please support the arts and to take that line item out of the budget. We'll see what happens, but
see what
it's
happens.
a great article if you get to
Yeah.
read it at the WashingtonPost.com.
Here's the thing about art. Let's talk about that. Filmmaking, for me, I believe filmmaking changes the world. It gives people new perspectives. It educates people about things they otherwise don't have in their sphere, whether it be television or films, documentaries. I feel like it educates people. And so if we don't have the arts, we're really going to be lost. I mean, and it takes government support. Do you know we're one of the countries that has less support for filmmaking than most of the other countries. Most of the other countries
Clearly, she
have-
went to Cuba.
Yeah. Most of the other countries have governmental funding for independent filmmakers. They can apply for grants. We don't have that here. And then cutting the arts out of the schools where people would learn it at a young age.
Actually, there are grants that you can apply for.
Yeah.
There are
With the
grants.
government?
Yes.
Oh, I
with the
didn't know
government,
that.
I don't know, but
But state.
but
No.
private,
Private,
yes.
yeah.
Oh, but not the federal
Right,
government.
right,
But,
not the federal
but
government,
If
but
you're
with-
in Spain or France or whatever,
There's
Germany,
state-supported programs
Yeah.
through corporations and
Yes.
such that will enable you
right,
to
but
get
not the
funding.
U.S. at large,
Right.
where you can apply for grants in Germany, France, Spain, and so forth.
French is the best
Yeah, France
because
is
they
the best.
protect their cinema really good.
Right.
And yes, and they support it, and they made an industry in France. But
Right.
Spain is not like that. We have grants from the government, but it's not so much. It's
Right.
Every year is a little less money,
Right.
and give more for armament. and
Yeah,
this.
it's so interesting, isn't it, that people don't put an emphasis on how important the arts are to people's happiness, to their culture, to their, telling stories, education.
Yeah.
It plays into all of those things.
Yeah, I think open your mind. No, look at other stories.
I bet your film really opened the mind of people in Spain when
Yeah.
they saw it.
A lot of people say like, "Oh, I thought that lesbian was not like normal." It's like, what is normal?
That's interesting.
Yes.
And I love filmmakers because I'm a filmmaker myself. I did the first documentary on gay marriage, so you and I are in a similar boat. And I remember when I was making that film, people were like, "Oh, that'll never happen." But it's a good point that making those films, and mine was one of several that followed, did make a difference, obviously, because now we can get married here in the U.S., but we had to educate people. And so films do educate people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's coming up next? You just did a short.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did a short that I'm going to premiere on Monday in Spain. So, but I'm not.
And
not
what's the
go
name
there.
of that?
It's Me Too.
Me Too.
Yeah, it's
Okay. Is this about you too?
Yeah, no, that no.
It's about me.
No, it's a project that it's a non-profit who try to teach the people to protect health, sexually health, and ETS and all this stuff. So they told me to me and for another directors, and we create like short films for them.
Right.
That they can teach the people.
Oh, it's an educational film.
It's an education, but in comedy, and so
Right.
it's film
Oh,
and
right.
education.
Right. Right. It's
just
a mix.
You need to be conscious that what you are doing
Right.
with your body.
Right.
So it's-
No, that's
And
great.
you're raising money for another feature film called
Pool
Pool
Party.
Party.
Yeah.
Now that sounds educational.
Yeah.
Well, that is visibility.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
It's what? It's basically
visibility for lesbian.
Oh, visibility.
Visibility.
Okay.
Visibility for the
Okay,
lesbian
I'm an
community.
interpreter.
Yeah, I
I
need to
love your
work on my
accent.
accent.
I
I
love
need to
it.
work on my accent.
No, I love it. But
So-
you came here not even speaking
Yeah,
English,
it's
right?
nothing.
That is unbelievable. How long ago?
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
That was almost 2 years.
Yeah, but that's pretty
pretty good.
impressive.
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
The first
Yeah.
years I was back and forth in Spain, but and since May I just speak English. So yes, it's good.
That's
Hard.
amazing.
It's hard, but good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the hardest thing about coming to the U.S. and not speaking the language? Like, how did people embrace you or not? Like, what was your struggle here?
Well, the thing, people here support a lot. The people
That's awesome.
and the community, my friends, everybody support me and try to understand me. And if now they put a face like you put with visibility, it's like, what are you saying? But yes, most of the people support and try to understand. And
What's the difference between the countries? What's the difference
between Spain and
That's correct.
Yeah.
What do you find the biggest difference?
Wow, I don't know what to say because Spain is very fun too. It's a fun and relaxed place.
We're not fun?
But I was going to say,
So
I
it's
think
the
you got
same.
a fun crowd.
So
Get
it's
out
the
of
same.
here.
So it's the same. So I come here and I find the same thing, you know.
But what about your lesbian community? How is that different, or how is it the same? Or
I'm very lucky because I live in Madrid and I'm a
Oh, that's a big city.
so it's a
big
robust
city,
city.
and I'm lesbian filmmaker, so I know
Oh, you
most
know
of the
everybody.
lesbian in
Y'all know-
in
Oh, you're
Madrid.
popular.
So and yes, in Madrid because it's a center of Spain and a
Yeah.
big city is okay.
Yeah.
But if you go out of Madrid, if you go to another towns, little towns,
It's,
it's
but
not
that's the same.
Oh,
but
that's the same here in the
everywhere.
U.S. Yeah,
I
rural
think-
America here
yeah.
is not so welcoming, and it can be tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any time you're in a city, whether it's the U.S. or anywhere in Europe, for some reason people are more progressive.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it was here. I mean, just look at our election.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
And it's people of all the countries and all the
Right.
Yes, I think it's more.
Right.
Right. So, what's been the most challenging thing about being a filmmaker?
Well, I think it's film and try that the people, the
Raising money?
producer, raising money, the producer
It's always about the
believe
money.
in you, and if you're a woman,
Right.
and your story, why your story is going to be an interest for the rest of the audience,
Right. Yeah.
If it's about lesbians. Yeah,
Right.
but it's a story, It's,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the most.
And
difficult.
also, too, a lesbian story isn't of interest just to lesbians; it's of interest to people.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, just
I-
like if I go watch one about Chinese immigration. It's not because I'm Chinese. It's because I'd like to learn about it.
Exactly.
I don't think that it's important because it's a lesbian story. I think it's important because it's a story about a human being.
There you go.
Who happens to be lesbian. That's,
There you go.
You know,
That
I
is.
think people put too much emphasis on, that. Sexuality and gender. I think that once we acknowledge that we're all human beings and that we all have stories to tell, there might be a human being might be their lesbian storyline. So that's what's interesting. I mean, there is a movie opening up this weekend, Power Rangers, who has an actual lesbian character for the first time.
Right.
I mean, and there's a gay innuendo in Beauty and the Beast, and that's just coming out in big.
I heard some people boycotted Beauty and the Beast because of that.
There was a theater in Alabama that would not show it, but that's But that's, you see, here's where I will disagree.
Okay.
I think they have every right as an American, if that's
what about
they
freedom of
feel.
speech?
But
Maybe there's people there that want to see that movie. Why should that theater be allowed to
But
ban
what,
it?
but what about the theater owner? What about his freedoms? What about his ideas of what he
I don't
likes?
think he should impart his ideas
But what
on
about
what
but
his people
if
get
he
to go
went
watch.
But if he went to the community and the community said, we don't want that in our theater.
But he didn't do that.
Yes, he did. He talked to people in the community.
But what people in the community? You're telling me there's no one in that community that would have liked to see Beauty and the
Oh,
Beast?
no, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
that.
so he's
But
not listening to the other side.
But you're not listening to my point. He has every right as an American citizen who owns that theater. That's his theater.
Okay, we can agree to disagree.
But here's where the feminization.
But what if
of
it was
your
her
mind-
movie?
but-
What if he wouldn't run her
But you're
lesbian
changing the
movie?
subject.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm just trying to have you listen to my point. And
Yeah.
this guy's an American citizen. He has every right to exercise that. Do we like it? We're not going to like everything everybody does. That's the thing. That's what makes this world
We agree
great.
on that.
That's what makes this world great is that there's differences of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And, he might think differently. And there's a lot of Christians that think gays, is a sin. They have a right to think that. But guess what? Gays have a right to be gay.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what makes this country great.
Right.
And therein lies
already
the
great.
difficulty
Right.
in this whole situation.
It is.
that we have to come to terms with
Right.
each other.
Right.
That's the difficulty.
Right. We have to respect each other.
That's correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very important.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. We
Right.
have to respect that decision, whether or not we like it.
Right.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like Trump's budget.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. He's doing that for some people that really want that. I think that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
guess what? They're Americans too.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this country amazing, is that there's two different...
We're very eclectic.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
So it keeps
that's,
it interesting.
This is a very difficult hurdle for most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And
I think we are at a crossroads where there's a consciousness lifting happening around the world. And
Yeah.
the more we have more, as we said before, more women making films, more women at the decision-making table, more women at
Agreed.
the creative table, the more we're going to come together and show more perspectives and see each other's sides and come together in some middle ground.
Right.
So that's where we're headed, and I'm excited about that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you could be doing anything, what would you be doing next?
Next?
Yeah, like what's your big vision? Do you want to make a mainstream major movie here in Los Angeles?
Oh,
Like where do
no.
you see
you want
yourself?
to direct Wonder Woman, too.
Yeah. I want to direct Pool Party, and I want to direct another series that I'm writing.
Oh, and
The
what's that?
Wellingtons.
So really, what is Pool Party about? You didn't
Pool
explain.
Party is for women in their 50s, 45, 50s, and they go to Palm Springs to the dinosaur for the last weekend.
And for
party.
people that
So
don't know
explain
what
it.
Dinah Shore is, it's kind of a gay women's weekend.
Yeah.
That is a big celebration.
Big celebration.
And so you're kind of capturing the essence of that.
Yeah, but the thing is that they never can do it until the end of the movie because a lot of stuff happened to them. No, it's a comedy, so it's a road trip, and the story is about friendship and about support each other. The
It's a
four
lesbian
of them.
movie. Of course, it's about friendship.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
There is not a kiss in the movie. No, nothing.
No sex?
Nothing.
No sex, no kiss, nothing. Just friendship.
Okay,
And
now
it's how
nobody's
they
going to
support
watch it.
each other.
Sorry, Sonia.
Okay, well, at the end, in the last
You
minute,
better rewrite it.
Yeah.
in the
No,
last
it
minute.
sounds great.
Yeah.
It sounds great. And what's the series about that you're getting ready to write?
Well, the series is about a family, a rich family who lost everything.
A rich family?
Who,
Okay.
yes, who lost everything, and they have to reinvent themselves. and-
Oh, I like that.
This sounds
movie.
interesting.
yeah.
Okay, so that's a series. and
This is
it's
a series.
like a
and
web
finish-
series?
No, this is like half an hour.
Okay.
Just finished the 10 episode.
Now, is this something you could see on like Amazon or Netflix
Well, I
or
have to
Hulu?
pitch. I have to start to pitch, and yes, and hopefully
I
yes.
like that premise, because what are we when we lose everything and have to start over? And many people will relate to that. I mean, that happens to many people, right? You have
Yes.
to
Yeah.
reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
like
honest,
that.
I love it. It's a comedy too, but I
Yeah, you
I really
always do
love it.
comedy.
The most
Yeah.
of the of my work is in comedy.
Yeah.
I
You
don't know
enjoy writing that.
why. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So where do you get that from? Like, so you grew up in Spain. I know you said, oddly enough, because it's not very welcome in Spain, but your parents were very supportive of you
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
out. That's great.
Very supportive.
Where did the comedy come from? Your mom, your dad? Was it?
No,
was there
I
a lot
was,
of laughter in
in
your
the
home?
beginning when I started to write. I was very depressed. I don't know why. And suddenly,
Wait a minute. You were depressed writing comedy. Okay, that is
no.
a gift.
No, it sounds like she's a dramatic writer. She wanted to be a dramatic independent
I wanted to
filmmaker.
be very dramatic and
all of a
very,
sudden-
very suffering. My character needs to suffer a lot, but I couldn't do it. And I said, well, I'm going to try to comedy. And let's see if it works better. And yes,
Yeah.
it works better. So.
Right. So,
But I really wanted to do, this movie. And with
yeah,
the
you got to
character.
do what kind of naturally flows.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we're all doing.
Yeah.
We're all
Yeah.
doing what we love.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? It's good to be women in this time in the country or in the world where we can do what we want.
Yeah.
We can be on the radio. We can be filmmakers. Obviously, there was a time when women couldn't do what they wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
And
it's
so
true.
we
It's
are
very
really fortunate. I'm so happy to have had both of you on today. You're both doing incredible work, and you're amazing human beings. Thanks for bringing different perspective to the table.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for
Thanks
listening.
for bringing your Spanish culture to the table. And what do you think? What do you think is next for us, ladies? Do you think? I know you said the world needs to be feminized. Do you think? I personally think we're headed in that direction. What do you all think?
For me, I think that more women need to start listening and to different perspectives.
And to each other.
And to each other.
yeah.
And having the conversation, the hard conversation that you don't want to hear.
Oh, there's a lot of those.
Right.
What about you,
Yeah.
Sonia?
Yeah, I think it's a woman. We are start to support each other more.
To support each other.
Sup-
360 Karma is all about
in
that.
the last year, I see it.
Yes.
Yeah, I see it. That
Yes.
it's happening.
Yes, it is happening. You see the march, you see all these groups. I know I belong to some of them. The LA March group continues. We just interviewed with Together We Will LA. Pantsuit Nation continues. So more and more women are coming together to help each other.
I would like to
and
see that happen
that
more.
there's strength in numbers. I definitely see it more this year. So something good has come out of this whole upheaval, and that is that women are coming together, helping each other, and moving ahead in a more, as you say, feminine cultured arena for the world.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not there, but we're on our way. That's the way I feel. So we're going to end on that note. Thanks for having you powerful, wonderful, amazing women on today. And we are going to be back next week with more great guests. And we hope that you will subscribe to YouTube so that you don't miss any of our shows. Every week we have the most incredible ladies. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make it a great week. Hugs and happiness.